Hello, my name's Kathy and I'm from the Early Years Alliance, and today's activity is printing with vegetables. So this would be an ideal activity to start doing with your babies from about 9 months old, and ideal for toddlers. It's all edible. I'm using edible paint today and a variety of vegetables. So just be aware of any allergies that your children may have and that you're aware of, and always wash your hands after the activity, and please supervise your children at all times during the activities. So obviously I've got a mat down here because it is a messy painting activity. But the great thing about this is that we are going to use a selection of vegetables here, which are all brightly coloured and they're different shapes. So your children are going to get a lot out of it. But particularly good for little ones is that these vegetables you can pick up and handle. So it's really good for their fine motor skills. They're great for handling the little ones there. As I said, the paint is all edible, so I've made it with flour and water and food colouring, so it's ideal. Now we may think about painting using brushes, but there are all sorts of different things that you can use for painting and printing with your children. So as I said, we're going to use some different vegetables today. So I've got some mushrooms, I've got peppers, I've got onions, I've got corn on the cob, which is really good for rolling there. I've got a little bit of cucumber there that I had left over. I've got some broccoli. So it's actually also a way that you can encourage healthy eating in your children, and we can have lots of discussions about the vegetables and again about the colours and shapes, which is also good for their speech and language. It's a really creative activity. You really can't go wrong or make any mistakes with these activities. It really is going to spark their imagination. It's going to give them lots of choices that they can do independently. So let's get started and see. Behind me, I have made one earlier just as an example of all the patterns that you can use, and as I said, it can be really random. It doesn't have to be anything that we want a finished product of, because quite often adults want to see something that has a finished to it. But with this, we're just letting them and giving them the opportunity to have a go at printing independently and getting those skills, those little fine motor skills going as well. So I've mixed up my paint. I've got red, green and yellow, and these colours sort of reflect really the vegetables that I'm using as well. As I said, I've mixed it up with just flour and water and food colouring. So I'm going to try a mushroom first, and I have got a plate that I'm going to start printing on. I thought a plate would be quite good because we're using vegetables, so that would be quite apt to use. But I've also just got some normal paper as well that we can use, and in a minute I'll show you about doing it with some materials to make one of the wall hangers. So let's get started. I'm going to use some yellow and I'm going to dip that mushroom in the paint there and give it a little swirl around. As we said, great for little fingers to go in there and safe as well, and we can just randomly print and they make amazing shapes on the papers. And that's my mushroom printing, and remember there's no right or wrong in this activity, and we can give lots of praise and encouragement to our little ones as well. This one, I tried this before. It's a little sweet pepper, and the good thing about this is actually when you cut it there is little seeds inside. So if you're doing it in springtime, you can use those seeds and you can do another activity and you can actually plant those little seeds out with them too. So with my orange pepper, I'm going to do some green again. I'm going to have a lovely time printing it. It's so easy to print on different materials on this plate. And then I'm going to use, I think I'm going to have a go with an onion there. there. So I'm going to use a red, it's a red onion, and use some red paint. I'm going to dip it in. I've left the little stalk on again, so it's easy for your children to pick up and hold as well. And here we go. Wow. All those beautiful colours that are coming together. All different shapes. Lots of circle shapes there. And we've got that yellow and red. Okay, so that is just an example that I've done on a plate. You could make it as a little wall hanging if you want to hang it up. You could even make it as a little face mask if you put some holes in there. You could cut some eye shapes out, make it like a little mask. So the other idea that I had is to make this wall hanging that I've got behind. So I've got one here, and I've just put in there a little piece of wood to hold it up, and it's just a little scrap of material that I found. So I'm going to use my corn on the cob for this one. So there it is, corn on the cob. Okay, different shape, and I'm going to roll this one here. I'll show you when I've done it. And nice and firm. Wow, that's such a good pattern on there. And it's nice, the paint is mixed with the flour. Lots of rolling. And it's really going to help with their concentration as well. It's going to keep them really focused for a long time with that. And then I'm going to add, I think, a bit more of my pepper. Some on there. And the patterns is really interesting. So patterns and shapes is all to do with math skills. And I've got a little bit of broccoli there, that's green, so I'm going to use green as well. And let's see what this one's going to do. I'm just going to dab it. Again, ideal, it's got the stalk, beautiful different shapes that I'm using there. Okay, so it's a really interesting effect. And I think they're going to feel quite proud of that. I know I am. And then to finally, mushroom again, mushroom, and a little bit of red, a bit of onion. I'll tell you what, I'm going to use a little bit of carrot with this one. I can just dab in that carrot. Oh yeah, put some red in there. Remember, your children are going to do this independently. You are going to be supervising them, but you're going to allow them to choose what they want to do. And I've got some little red in there. I'm going to dab. This makes a really good dabber. It's like mark making that I'm doing with them. And that, I think, makes a pretty good little wall hanger that any little child would be very pleased with. Another idea is that I've laminated one that I've done earlier. So this is another one. And I know not everybody's got a hold of a laminator, but if you can, because these make really good placemats. So again, when we're talking about language and communication and the speech, this is really, really beneficial. We put it in there. It's going to encourage all those conversations about the fruits and veggies that they use and the colours. You could even put their name on as well as a little placemat there. So I hope that's given you some ideas, and it's a lovely activity to do. I hope you've enjoyed it and you will give it a go. For further information, please go to www.familycorner.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today.